So, last Sunday, Brinda, we had
Yes.
Amardeep with
Yeah.
us,
Hmm.
and children asked some very interesting questions.
Okay.
One of them was that, Guru Nanak asked you to follow this path of righteousness, you know, uh,
Yeah.
do the right things, all teaching moral values. But they said when we see around, we don't see other people following it.
Yes. So correct.
Yeah. So they said, so, it,
But
I,
Jugjeev, this is a question that children keep asking. Even
right.
a normal classroom, when we talk to them about values and following certain norms and
Right.
traditions and stuff like that, then they do come up with things that adults say all this, but the adults don't follow it. So yes, they're exposed to the true world, and they do have all these doubts.
Yeah. So, it was very perceptive of,
Yeah.
them to say that. And obviously, there's a lot of conversation about where is God and, about
Ah,
role of priests and,
right,
uh,
right. Yeah.
very interesting
Interesting.
uh, questions that are going
Yeah.
on in
Yeah.
people's minds. And glad that they were asking.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
So I think we can start. So hope you,
Yeah, I think we have
Brenda.
about, it shows 18 participants, much
Yeah,
lesser
we'll
than what
start.
we
I think,
normally have. Maybe because this is the first session now. So today,
yeah. I
yeah,
don't know. I find that these days some folks are joining in late, but we should try and start as much
yeah,
on time
yeah,
as possible.
absolutely. Yeah. So Manisha,
Manisha,
if
you'll
you
have to
could,
share the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Just 1 minute, I'll put.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, folks, we're going to be reading the inner life of animals today. That's what, and then Manisha will, and it's
Is it
very
visible?
Not,
coming.
yes,
Yep,
it
yep,
is.
yep,
It is.
yep,
It is.
yep.
All right,
Over.
children. So we are starting with weathering the storm. And let's start by understanding what this phrase actually means, weathering the storm. Is there anyone who would like to attempt an answer? What does weathering the storm mean? You can just raise your hand and Manisha ma'am will allow you access to speak. Is there anyone who wants to take a go at guessing what weathering the storm means? Otherwise, we'll read a little bit of it and then you can guess. Manisha, are there any hands up?
I cannot see, ma'am.
No. Okay, so let's carry on. We'll read a little bit and then we'll come back to the meaning of this title. It might probably become clearer as we read. Few of us would voluntarily enter a forest in a storm. Lightning strikes in trees can be deadly, and pelting cold rain isn't pleasant either. For a number of years, I offered survival training in the woodland I manage, where the participants spent a weekend in the woods equipped with nothing but a sleeping bag, a cup, and a knife. They slept there and, most importantly, foraged for food. One time, when we were foraging, we were surprised by a violent storm. We had no choice but to let it beat down unto us. Apart from the soaking rain, lightning strikes nearby were a cause of concern. I bluffed my way through the storm with exaggerated calm so as not to worry my companions even more. Inside, however, I felt some rising panic when a powerful strike hit only about 100 meters away. I've not I've often noticed after a thunderstorm that even if you are not hit directly by lightning, the area around a tree that has been struck is also a dangerous place. On one occasion, not only did the tree that was ripped open die, but so did more other than 10 other close neighbors. In one extreme case, I might as well have been watching a knife throwing act. Okay, so let's look at these few phrases over here and understand what the writer is talking about to us. So if there are any guesses now for weathering the storm, children,
Yeah,
anyone?
Kajal,
Yes,
Kajal has a,
hand
she
up.
has said it. No,
Yes,
she's put it in Q&A, but I think
okay.
we can, Manisha, you can unmute Kajal and maybe she wants to
Yeah.
answer it.
Samson SM raised the hand. Who is Samson FM?
Unmute Kajal also, please.
Unmute Kajal as well as this child. We don't know the name.
So, done both.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Yes,
Yes,
Kajal.
ma'am. Ma'am, my name is Mohammad Hamdan.
Okay. Yes, Mohammad.
Ma'am, I think it means surviving the storm.
Okay, good. It means to be able to face the storm and come out of it well, not very badly hurt. You may get hurt in the process, something may happen to you, but yet you would be able to face it, encounter it, and come out of it. Okay, good guess. And now let us look at this one. Now he's talking about how they managed to survive a storm. And there's one more expression I want you to look at, children. There is, I bluffed my way through the storm with exaggerated calm. So, was he really not panicking? What does that sentence mean? So, he pretended to be calm. Okay, he put on this very exaggerated calmness on his face, in his body language, so that his companions don't get even more frightened, because he was giving them training to face the storm. And remember, they were staying in a camp with just a knife and a cup with them, nothing else, and a sleeping bag. So, but then he talks about the devastation of a storm, and he talks about how on one occasion, not only this one tree, rip open, that means it just split into two. It not only did that tree die, but so did others, close neighbors of the tree on whom it probably fell. And he goes on to talking about another extreme case where it looked as if they were having a knife throwing act going on there. The lightning strike caused so much pressure in a spruce that its wood splintered into multiple shards that flew through the air with such force that some of them impaled a nearby stump. That day of survival training, however, we were rewarded with a wonderful wildlife sighting in the calm after the storm. The rain stopped abruptly and a break appeared in the clouds, allowing the sun to shine through, bright and warm. The vegetation around us started steaming, and suddenly a deer shot out into a small clearing. The animal was completely drenched and was looking for a warm spot to dry out. He felt just the same way we did, and I felt an instant moment of connection. What's it like to be a wild animal anyway? They have to tough it out year round in the wind and the weather, and when the cold season rolls around, that can't be very pleasant. Or can it? Let's take a closer look. First of all, animal fur repels much more moisture than is commonly thought, thanks to a coating of oil, the one we are constantly washing out when we reach out for the shampoo. Then, the direction in which the hair grows on an animal's back points the ends down. So the individual hairs act like roof tiles and channel water towards the ground. Thus, the coating of hair on deer and wild boar keeps the rain off and their skin stays nice and dry as long as a strong wind doesn't blow the rain sideways and up between the individual hairs. So look at this. You can imagine, you can actually close your eyes, children, and imagine the way the animal skin and the hair on the animal skin is organized. Such a beautiful example. And this is an example of a beautiful literary device which we study. Lovely imagery over here. It makes us imagine in our minds what the animal skin is like and how they keep themselves protected. Whereas we humans also have hair on our body as well as on our head, but we use so many artificial ingredients like the shampoo and wash away the natural oils that the body secretes, right? So that's what the author's talking about, how animals survive in these extreme weather conditions. Older animals are well aware of this, and when forced by the weather, they change location to somewhere well protected from the wind. Moreover, they position themselves so that their rear end is pointing towards the wind and their head, which is more sensitive, is sheltered from it. The only time they experience problems is when snow falls and the temperature hovers around freezing, because then the snowflakes melt and form rivulets that run down between the hairs, making the animals shiver. They prefer a hard freeze. Their thick winter coat insulates them so well that when it's nice and cold, a layer of freshly fallen snow can lie on their backs for hours without melting. See how they, yes, Manisha ma'am, there's a message from you. Is that for me or someone else?
Someone else did.
Someone else. Okay. All right. So children, see how animals are naturally geared. They are natural. They have natural mechanisms of protecting themselves, of protecting their head, which is far more sensitive. So they turn their backs towards the extreme side of the weather so that they can remain protected. And now that brings me to a question. Those of you who have pet animals, often we try and protect them by making them wear cloth coats and things like that. Do you think that is a very natural thing for them? Do you think we are really helping them? Or are we actually helping them to lose their natural instincts? I'd like you to reflect on this. And if any child wants to say something here, he or she is most welcome to share. This is something that we really need to think about, all right? Don't we feel the same way? Aren't we happier on a clear, frosty day at minus 10 degrees Celsius than in windy, rainy weather at 5 degrees? Animals don't really feel any differently. It's just that in general, they endure lower temperatures better than we do. But even that is not absolutely true. And to illustrate this, I have to mention another survival training weekend. Years ago, I once held the training in winter, and the weather on that January weekend was particularly awful. The temperature hovered around freezing, and every hour rain turned to snow and back again. Even the firewood was so wet that it was difficult to keep the campfire burning. I was expecting that it wouldn't take long for the participants to give up. But after a night in cold, clammy sleeping bags, our bodies seemed to adapt and none of us felt cold any longer. Apparently, we had reached the comfort level of wild animals. So you see, we humans also have certain natural mechanisms by way of which we can protect ourselves in extreme weather. And if you travel to high, cold, mountainous regions, you are told to wait before you start walking and exploring the region so that you get yourself acclimatized to the weather conditions. For example, if you were to go to Leh or Ladakh, they tell you that keep lying down for some time until your body has the right kind of pressure to balance with the atmospheric pressure, as well as the right kind of temperature matches. So then after that, we are able to actually survive better in these extreme conditions. And that's what the writer is talking about, an experience where they acclimatize themselves to the extreme cold weather and their bodies became warmer. In summer, apart from the warmth of the sun, there's yet another reason for animals to abandon the thick canopy of leaves under the trees for a small clearing after a downpour. The leaves of beeches and oaks keep dripping for so long after a rainstorm that there's a local saying, in deciduous forests, it always rains twice. But the fact that the deer get rained on even after the storm has passed is not the only thing that disturbs them. Falling water droplets are loud. Prey animals can't hear approaching predators behind this curtain of sound, and the predators like to take advantage of this to do a little stalking. And that is why deer prefer to move to a clearing right after a cloudburst so that they can listen to see if everything is still as it should be. Any questions or doubts that you have, children?
Let's ask them what is
Yes.
deciduous.
What is deciduous? Who can tell us
Anybody?
what are
Yeah.
deciduous forests? What kind of trees grow in the deciduous forests? I'm sure you know that, children. Can we have an answer here? You must be definitely studying about this in your geography classes.
Trees that shed their leaves during the autumn season.
Are they deciduous trees? Let's look at some examples. There are two names given over here. Beeches and oaks. There are two names given, but I think you should give me a better definition of deciduous forest. So I'm going to leave it for you to find out. Okay? Instead of constantly getting all the answers, I think you can do a little bit of search and find out what exactly deciduous forests are like. And when you actually search, you may even be able to see pictures of them. Okay, so you'll Okay, there's another answer in the chat box. Arjuna and sal trees, deciduous forests. Okay, you've given me examples of trees, but I want you to give me a definition of what deciduous trees are. Okay, so we'll come back to it. Let's come back to that. And I think all of you may know what a cloudburst is because the biggest news today is about the cloudburst that has happened in the Uttarakhand region. Does anyone know about it? Have you been reading about it or watching the news about this entire village disappearing? Yes, Arfa says yes. Can you name the village? Do you know where it is or the place near which it is? Yes.
Manisha, just
Yes.
unmute Ibrahim.
Ibrahim. Yes, Ibrahim. Manisha ma'am, have you been able to unmute him?
I cannot see Ibrahim's hand up. However, I've
No,
Hello?
no, he said it
He
asked in
said
the chat.
he put in the chat. Yes, may I? He said. Yes. Yeah, okay. Arfa has already written the name Dharali village. Very right. Very right. Good. I'm glad that you're keeping yourselves aware. Right. Today we have a Garima also from PYDS, I can see. Okay. Somebody was trying to speak. Manisha ma'am, who was that?
It was Garima.
Yes, okay. Okay, Ibrahim has written that deciduous trees are the trees which lose their leaves in the autumn, which is what somebody else had also mentioned.
Arfa had said that,
Arfa
yeah.
had said that. Okay, good. All right, let's move
So,
on.
Brinda,
Yes,
there was a heart-rending story yesterday.
yes.
What a, a clip had got viral of a
Huh,
car just
huh,
escaping uh, the flash floods,
yes.
and the person in the car survived.
Huh,
And there was this story yesterday in the paper of how this person had to make this decision. He saw
yes.
his four friends 20 feet away,
Just imagine.
and he saw water coming, and his decision he had to make was
Yeah,
to wait for them or go.
yeah.
He chose to go,
Hmm.
and he stopped 30, 40 meters away, and he couldn't see them anymore.
Oh my God.
And so now he has survived, but he is sort of really guilty,
Huh.
of what
Of
happened.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And so, but he, he said that, behind them, he could see the mud coming, and he
Huh.
didn't think that they could make it. So he just pressed
Yes.
the accelerator, just left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So yes, it was. It's been really a devastating thing that has happened. I mean, one of the worst probably. So anyway, let's go ahead with our reading. So it says here that is why deer prefer to move to a clearing right after a cloud burst so that they can listen to see if everything is still as it should be. The situation for small mammals such as voles is more challenging. Sometimes, when I walk through our horse pasture in winter rains, I can see water bubbling up out of the vole hills on the hillside. How are the tiny rodents supposed to survive such conditions? Wet fur is much more dangerous for them than it is for the large animals because percentage wise, for their body size, they lose much more warmth. Besides, they have, comparatively speaking, an enormous need for calories. Every day, they must consume the equivalent of their body weight in food. When they get wet, their energy needs to increase considerably. And because they don't hibernate, they don't get any break from the daily struggle of finding food. On the plus side, they prefer to eat the roots of grasses and other green stuff, and therefore they don't need to brave icy winter winds, but can gather food from the comfort of their underground tunnels. But what happens when water inundates their earthworks? The smart little animals have a special building plan to deal with this eventuality. For starters, there is a chute at the entrance. In case of danger, a vole can drop into this to flee quickly underground. Then the tunnels go deep, far deeper than is strictly necessary. After a short distance, they angle slightly upwards, ending in a small chamber comfortably padded with soft grass. If it rains so hard that water runs into the burrows, the water collects in the deeper section of the tunnels, while the inhabitants sit comfortably high and dry. And because a multitude of tunnels weave their way through the burrows, the voles can flee if water does manage to reach their nests. However, the plan doesn't always work. when the whole pasture is underwater after a heavy rain, which happens mostly in winter, some of the wolves inevitably get caught and drowned miserably in their underground chambers. So in we saw how various animals, depending on their size, on the kind of skin they have, on the kind of fur they have, how they use their own natural instincts to survive, and how nature also helps them to do so. See the way they build their burrows, the way they build their homes. They have been built in such a way that they can provide them with natural shelter. So it's a beautiful thing for animals to be naturally endowed with all these characteristics so they can actually keep themselves really safe, right? So, yes. Is there
Yeah.
any question, children?
No, Brinda, you asked about, whether it was sort of right to try and interfere in the natural sort of
Instincts of the animals.
natural and just the way the natural covering is, right?
Yes.
For your pets, people
Yeah.
many times do those things.
Yeah.
Uh, in the with birds, actually, this is a common area of
Yeah.
dispute between the birders and other people who are, putting out grains for birds to eat.
Yes.
Because the birders always say that please don't do that because then they lose their
Absolutely.
natural tendency to go and forage for birds for food, and
Exactly.
there is
Yes.
enough food for them out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they will get it because they know
Yes.
how to get it. But if you make it easy for them, then
Yeah.
they will lose that ability.
Absolutely. Also, there is a lot of talk about how, dogs are the most common pets, most commonly domesticated animals are dogs. And there's a lot of, today, there's a lot of writing about how dogs are losing all their natural instincts. It is said that dogs never lose their way, they'll always find their way and come back, but not anymore. You find a lot of lost dogs on the roads of the city because they have actually lost their natural instinct to smell and find their way back, or to be able to survive in circumstances other than in the houses that their pet parents have. So and these pets are taken to saloons, and there are pet saloons. In our society we see these saloon vans. They come, and in air conditioned saloons the dogs are given a bath, and their hair is trimmed and shampooed and whatnot. So all these things, we treat them that like we treat ourselves. So just as we human beings have interfered a lot in our own natural upbringing, in the same way we are interfering with that of the animals also. So I mean, I for one advocate that pets, you can have pets if you allow them to be in natural surroundings. You have enough space for them to walk around, run around. But when we keep them closeted in flats, it's a pity. That's my personal opinion, but I don't think the world will agree with that. Yes, there's a hand up. Meenakshi ma'am wants to say something. Yes, ma'am. Manisha, please
See, ma'am, there
unmute.
is another thing.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
So, the hair tends to stand up when
Yeah.
it's cold and
Yes.
trap the air, so that that there's the convection does not happen, and of heat does not happen, and the animals keep warm in that manner. So the
Yes. Yes.
moment we cover them up with cloth, and all the hair is pressed
Yeah.
against the this thing
Exactly.
cannot happen. And the second thing is, they'll also start shedding because they're being
Yes.
kept warm. So
Yeah.
ultimately, lose that, like you were saying, that ability to protect themselves.
Yes.
So
Actually,
that's
even if we have noticed carefully, the little hair that we have on our body also stands on end in very cold circumstances. I'm sure all of us would have experienced it. And sometimes when we are frightened or when we are shocked, we say we've got goosebumps. That's just the natural hair on our body standing up. And yes, the air that gets trapped in that keeps you warm, actually. Yeah. Yes. Do we go ahead with the reading? Do we have time, Jugjeev sir, or do we
No,
stop
we
here for
can.
today?
This is a very short chapter. We can
Okay.
read it, but
Ah,
I'm just surprised nobody's asked what a vole is. I didn't know what
yes.
a vole was
What a
until I
vole
read
is,
this
yes.
book.
It's a rodent is what it only guess can be it's a rodent. But what exactly is a vole, no one has asked. And does anyone know or has anyone seen the picture of a vole? I think today our participants are rather quiet, Jugjeev sir. They're not asking questions and participating as they normally do.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think so.
children, do you know what a vole is?
No, ma'am.
No. So who's
Then
going to
why
find
did
out? Why didn't you ask?
Suman Mishra.
Yes. Is there a hand up? Manisha ma'am?
Yes, Suman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
hello.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, Suman. Ah,
Hello,
thank
ma'am.
you,
This is
Jugjeev sir, for this. Yes, Suman, you're saying something?
Anushka, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, as you said that animals consist many kind of hairs on their body.
Hmm.
So as being as human, we consist very minor amount of hairs on our body, and
Yeah.
still we feel goosebumps after listening something like
Yes.
people. So what about animals? They feel more than goosebumps
Yes, they
among
do.
us.
Yes, they do. And they keep themselves warm because of this. Okay. We just read about how their hair stands on end actually, right? It grows in a certain direction and it helps them to weather the cold weather. I mean, to face the cold weather, to weather the storm, as the chapter says, right? You must have guessed by now to weather the storm is to be able to face that and to be able to survive in extreme conditions of weather, right? So here is a picture of the vole, and it says over there that they're small rodents, which are the relatives of lemmings or hamsters, but with a stouter body, a longer hairy tail, and a slightly rounder head and very small eyes. You can see that, okay? I think some children may have seen hamsters because hamsters are also some, are considered to be pets that some children have. I don't know how many of you have seen that. All right. So we'll go back to the chapter, ma'am, on pain. And since it's
sorry, Manisha, I just thought it
yeah,
was a
I
good
know, but
time
this
to
was
show
good,
that.
Jugjeev sir. It was
Yeah.
nice of you to put up a picture for everybody to see. And
Yeah.
they now know the distinction between a rat, a mole. And I hope you all know what's the difference between a rat and a mole. Okay. So the vole sounds like the mole, looks like one too.
Yeah.
Pain. It was a cold evening in February, and our goat, Barley, was about to give birth. She was restless. She kept lying down, and milk was already flowing into her udder. My wife was worried. I think it's taking too long, she insisted. Shouldn't we call the vet to be on the safe side? I calmed her down. Barley can do this on her own. Perhaps she just needs some peace and quiet. She's strong and healthy. I don't want to interfere unnecessarily in a situation like this. Well, it would have been better if I had paid attention to Miriam and her sixth sense. The next morning, the kids were still not born, and Barley was clearly in pain. She was grinding her teeth. She didn't want to get up, and she didn't want to eat either. All these signs were highly alarming, and we lost no time in calling a vet who knew our goats well. He's on holiday, the vet who was covering for him told us, but she quickly drove out to our forest lodge. She diagnosed a breech that unfortunately had already died inside the mother. The vet carefully pulled out the dead baby and then gave Barley medicine to get her to expel the placenta. Our goat recovered quickly, and we even got her another kid to adopt. A goat farm in the vicinity had a quadruplet to give away. 4 kids are too much for any mother goat. She has only 2 teats on her udder and not enough milk for so many mouths. And the farmer was happy to find a good home for one of the feisty little kids. We rubbed mucus from the dead kid over the new arrival, who was later to become our breeding billy goat, Vito. That might sound disgusting, but it meant that as far as Barley was concerned, the new kid smelled like her own child, and she immediately allowed it to nurse. Both mother and child thrived. So there was a happy ending for this pair at least. But back to pain. Pain? We have heard earlier about fish feeling pain, but those reports are still considered controversial. We could get down to the neurological level and advance all kinds of arguments about similar triggers and signals and patterns of brain waves and hormones suggesting similar feelings. But isn't there a much easier way? After all, Barley exhibited all the patterns of behavior you see in people who are in pain. Grinding her teeth, sometimes goats don't usually do. Loss of appetite, lying down, apathy. Don't some of these symptoms sound familiar? That's a question for all of you. Don't these symptoms sound familiar? Don't we do similar kind of things when we are in pain? Grind our teeth like that when we are angry or when we feel pain and we need to bear it. Or we sometimes go off food because we are not hungry anymore. We just want to lie down. And there's a sense of apathy. You know what apathy is, children? Is there anyone who has an answer for apathy? Well, apathy means no desire or willingness to do anything, just an indifferent attitude, just couldn't
You can
care.
say lack of interest.
Yes, lack of interest in anything. That's right, Suman. So don't some of these symptoms sound familiar? We've experienced more direct evidence in our dealings with our chickens, goats, and horses. We keep all our animals behind electric fences appropriate for each to make sure they stay in the areas we have marked out for them. An electric fence might sound cruel, but it's the most practical solution. Barbed wire is out because of the chance of injury. And a wooden fence wouldn't keep the goats in for long, and the horses would gnaw away at the posts and bars over time. Just how an electric fence works is something I experience myself on a regular basis. Sometimes when I go out in the morning, lost in thought, to mark off a new section of the pasture for the horses, I forget to switch off the power first. Then a powerful shock rudely brings me back to earth, and I get annoyed with myself. For the next few days, I check multiple times to see if the pasture fence control really is shut off. An electric shock is a wake-up call for the instincts, sending them into overdrive. And that's exactly how the fence works for animals too. They experience how unpleasant it is to touch the fence once, maybe twice, and from then on, they avoid it. So an electric fence works by means of an initial shock and then by the mere memory of the shock, just like it does with me. And that's why I am convinced our domestic animals experience the electric shock exactly the same way I do. And not just our domestic animals. With the chickens, the primary purpose of the electric net fencing we use is to keep the foxes out, and it works very well. Farmers fence their maize fields with electrified wires to keep wild boar out. And pet owners don't like visible fences, can bury cables. When a dog or cat crosses the invisible boundary, they receive an electric shock from a special collar. It's up to the individual to decide whether that's okay or not. But the fact remains that all these creatures feel pain and instinctively react the same way, including me. Yeah, let's not forget that humans are also animals at the end of the day. Okay, and sometimes probably we behave worse than them, worse than we call it animal like behavior, but unfortunately, a lot of human beings they behave worse than the animals do. So I think we should be careful when we do these comparisons also. So, any questions, any thoughts, children? But do reflect on these things about how animals protect themselves, their natural instincts, and how we should respect the natural instincts of the animals, and also remember that animals feel pain just as bad as we do, and that they have their own way of protecting themselves. Yes. Kajal, do you have a question? Is your hand raised?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Kajal. Yes, I'll come back to you. Kajal, ask your question.
Ma'am, like you are caring for animals, and
Hmm.
animals do have feelings. And
Hmm.
if you put electric fence, so don't
Yeah.
you think the animals will hate you?
Uh, Beta, if in the larger interest of the animals, like the author just explained to us, that to protect them, one, from going astray, to protect them from predators, like foxes would enter and take away the chickens. So, in order to keep them safe, those who rear animals, they have to do these kind of things in order to keep their farms protected, their animals protected. So, yes, the animals will feel a little bit of a shock, a pain, but it's in their interest that it is done. So, I'm sure they do feel that initial shock, but probably they will thank us in the longer run.
And the author does say that, when he put up conventional fences, animals got hurt by hitting those
Yes,
fences. So that's
yes.
why he's done this. But I'm just curious, has anybody had an electric shock? I mean, as kids, I somehow feel we used to get a lot of electric shocks. I don't know why.
Yes, yes. Has any child here experienced it? We don't go and try to experience it. We don't want you to do that. But if you have accidentally ever experienced a shock, you would know what it is like. Yes, Binakshi ma'am says yes. Yeah. So if there's anybody else who wants to share something, we'll do that. Otherwise, I think we will go on to the next session, which is, I think, with Manisha ma'am.
Yeah.
Or
So,
Jyoti sir.
ma'am,
Yeah.
just in the last session or the session before that, we got a lot of questions from children on how to improve their English and how to read
Okay.
better. So, if you can just
Right.
talk a little bit about both these.
Yes, all right. So, children, the one thing that we all need to do to improve our language skills, our communication skills, is to listen carefully. When you listen and you take in what is being spoken by the speaker, you learn a lot of things. You learn how to say words, how to pronounce them. You learn a lot of grammar by just simply listening. So, if you listen carefully, you'll be able to pick up a lot of language. And how do we read? We need to read by understanding what we are reading first. So when you do a little bit of a silent reading, then you've understood it. And when you're reading aloud, then you pause at the right places. And to help you to pause, in every text, we have what is known as punctuation. So if there is a comma, you just pause slightly. If there is a full stop, you pause longer. If there is a semicolon, again, it's a slightly longer pause. So you need to be careful of punctuation while you're reading. You need to also understand what is the writer trying to convey. So sometimes writers try to convey their emotions through the kind of words they're using, the phrases, and the punctuation. So when you have, for instance, when you have words with exclamation marks after them, and you know that you've got to either show shock or surprise or happiness or sadness. And so you change the tone of your voice, you change your voice to suit the expressions in the book that you're reading. So you've got to read like that. And pronunciation is very, very important, children. So you have to know what are the sounds of the letters. And a good idea is to keep a little dictionary with you, which will help you to know. And now, of course, most of you have access to a phone. And when you're not sure of the pronunciation of a word, you can always ask the phone to help you and find out how do I pronounce a particular word, right? So you get that also. But the trick to improve your own language skills is to keep reading, to expose yourself to listening to as much good language you can hear, and to read, because reading is very, very important. At the same time, read something that you like, read something that you can understand. Otherwise, sometimes it can become a little frustrating and you will give up. So take books which are of interest to you, and you will find books on every subject on earth. So you need to see what is it that you're interested in. So for instance, if you like to read, since we are reading about animals, and if you like to read about animals, there are a lot of wonderful books on animals with very, very good language. So I've spoken a little earlier. In some session, I spoke about Gerald Durrell. He's the best writer to read about animals if you all are interested in animals. If you're interested in experiences, as I read this thing about the goat, Barley, I was thinking of an author called James Herriot. And James Herriot is a vet himself, and he has written a number of books about his experiences as a vet in the countryside of England. Very, very interesting stories. And children, if you're interested in animals and farm animals in particular, you should read James Herriot. His books are all, interestingly, each of the lines of this poem, All Things Bright and Beautiful, that's how his books are named, All Things Bright and Beautiful, All Things, the rest of the lines of the rhyme are titles of his books. So if you're interested, yeah, somebody's asked me what is the name of the book. I've given you one name, All Things Bright and Beautiful. That's by James Herriot. And you can find out. And Gerald Durrell, if you children want to start reading Gerald Durrell, you start by reading Rosie is My Relative. It's an easier book for children to read. My Family and Other Animals, that's his most famous book. Birds, Beasts, and Relatives. So you see, and he is the only person in the world who owned his own zoo. When he was alive, he had set up the zoo in England in a place called New Jersey. And Gerald grew up without going to school. He was one of those who was homeschooled, and he grew up incidentally, he was born in India. He was born in Jamshedpur in India because his father served the then British Army. And then after the death of his father, his mother and his two older brothers and an older sister who were much older than him moved to a little island in Greece called Corfu Island. And that's where they stayed. And as a child, um, Gerald had two teachers who would come home to teach him. And one of them was an extremely eccentric biologist who triggered this love for anything that is moving, creepy crawlies, animals and all. And Gerald grew up in this kind of an atmosphere. And as he grew as a teenager, he decided that he would be an animal collector for zoos. So his books are all about how he went on these adventurous trips collecting animals for various zoos. And finally, he decided that he would open his own zoo. And then he started the World Wildlife Fund, WWF. Children, some of you may be aware of this because I'm sure schools have connections with this because they conduct quizzes and things like that. So Gerald Durrell was the founder of the WWF, and all his books have a terrific sense of humor he had. So the way he portrays animals is almost like as if they're humans. So do read them, and maybe Jugjeev sir, once we finish the Inner Life of Animals, we can start off with a Gerald Durrell book, and that would be lovely. And there are other
Yeah.
books like Born Free and others. So children who want to read about animals can do that. And if you're interested in other adventurous stories, there's so many children know a whole lot of things. And I think nobody should grow up without having read books like Alice in Wonderland and, even books like Wind in the Willows, or the entire series of Winnie the Pooh. Often we think they're for very little babies, but they really aren't. So any subject that you want books, you'll find them. And if anyone wants to know about, what kind of books to read, what they're interested in, you can just put it up. And in the next class, I will suggest to you authors that you can read, which would be of interest to you. But do read some of the classics, because if you don't read them now, as you grow, then you won't want to go back to it.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yash, who's in class 5,
Yes, I think he has
has a
a
couple of
question.
questions. He
Yes,
wants to know
yes.
what pain is. So I'm sure some of the other children can explain that to him.
Yeah.
Khushi, would you like to try to explain to Yash what pain is? Or Arfa, would you like to try and explain?
Yes, Ruskin Bond is a favorite author, Kajal. He's
Physical
very good
pain
with
or emotional pain?
No, elaborate a little bit. Elaborate. Both types of pain. You're right. और बताओ थोड़ा आशा, please. Just expand a little bit.
So how do animal protect himself?
How do animals protect themselves? We just read about so many different ways in which they protect themselves. Protect themselves from what? What do they protect themselves from? What is it that you want to know, Yash? We just read about how they protect themselves from extreme weather conditions. And God has given them special abilities to protect themselves. See, you'll find a lot of deer in the forest, and the deer can become very easy prey to predator animals. But the deers are blessed with speed. They can run so fast and so quickly that some of the predators cannot keep up with them. So animals have certain natural abilities to protect themselves also. Yes, and Kajal has given you an answer that they have a protective layer of hair on their body to protect themselves from the weather. They have certain natural instincts. We just read all that in the chapter that we just read. Okay, what I suggest is if you can go back and read it once again, you will come to know a lot of it. Okay.
Khushi, you have your hand up.
Yes, Khushi. Any question, Khushi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, as a teenager, I've actually, I saw the cartoon which is like the Three Bears, and there they had talked about like hibernation. The
Yes.
brown bear, he went to hibernate, but he
Yeah.
couldn't. Actually, he was
Uh,
like a human, so he couldn't. So right now we just talked about hibernation. So,
yes.
being a kid, I've always wondered that when bears hibernate, so I
Uh,
can think that they might have eaten a lot of food, and they sleep.
yes.
But like, is there something like that? They wake up in middle of the hibernation to eat something? Because I don't think so. It's possible that they're
Uh,
hungry for like a whole year or something like that
No,
once?
I think they have again, their bodies are made in such a way that when they hibernate, they have enough energy to survive that period, right? So they don't just hibernate and not come out. When they come out of hibernation, yes, then they go hunting. So then they look for food. And I must share this with you. Sorry, I'm taking a little time, sir, but this is something that happened, and I experienced this. So I taught for a very short time and stayed in a school campus in Dharamshala. And this school was up in the hills. It was above, almost at, I think, 6,000 feet above sea level. So quite high up in the hills. And this area it had a lot of forests around the school. And there were, of course, animals in the forest. And one morning when I got up and I was going towards, we were taking a morning walk. And as I was going, I saw in the station wagon, there was this black, really black, beautiful bear sitting there in the station wagon. And we all got a little shocked. And then we were told by the local people that the winter had just about got over, and these bears had come out of their hibernation, and they go around all places looking for food. So you see, we human beings, we have encroached into their forest areas, into the areas where they would naturally come. And because we have gone into it, now look at all these hill stations and all. We have gone and built over there. We've gone into their area and taken over. So they come into our area looking for food. So when they're out of hibernation, they're very hungry. And they naturally go around looking for food. Yeah. Khushi, does that kind of answer your question?
Probably yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. Okay. So I think we can go on to the next session with Manisha, ma'am. Is that
Okay,
right?
thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you,
Jyoti.
Brinda.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm very happy for you to spend more time, so no problem on the time.
Right. I think if a lot of children, they're really interested in animals and animal stories, I can ask my daughter-in-law, who is an expert in this area, because she is a wildlife videographer, and she goes on all these expeditions, photography expeditions and things like that. So she could come and take a session online sometime and talk to the children about her adventures in photographing animals, and a lot about animal habits and things like that. And she could also talk to them about how, if any child wants to make a career out of getting into this field of looking after animals or animal photography and stuff like that, we could have her come and speak to the children sometime.
Thank you for that. We love that.
Yes, we'll do that. Yeah. Thank
Love
you.
that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sir, do you wish to show some of the reflections or should I start?
Yeah, we can do some of the reflections if you want. I mean, uh, let me see. Can I share? You want to share it? Can you share it?
1 minute, sir. So are you sharing it from your end?
You want me to? I can.
Yes,
I
sir, please.
can. I had it open. Happened. Okay, here. Give me a Yeah, so that should be coming up now. Yeah. We had, I started with this one, but actually we had some very nice reflections in Hindi as well. And I think, Manisha, it's maybe worth reading this. Think, uh, I don't think that one particular one that read for Reena's by Sakshi, which I thought was very good. And it also sort of captured the purpose of what we are doing. It's not only about reading, it's about reflecting. So I think Sakshi captured this thing really well. So, Manisha, do you want to try and read that? I don't think Sakshi is here. Anybody else like to read this?
Sir, if no one, if somebody volunteers, fine, else I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there somebody who wants to read this? Any hands up?
Okay, let me improve my Hindi, Manisha. Okay. जब हम रंगीन गुलदस्ता की बात करते हैं तो ये केवल रंग बिरंगे फूलों का एक गुच्छा नहीं है। ये गुरु नानक देव जी की शिक्षाएं, अनुभवों और यात्राओं के दौरान मिले विविध संस्कृतियों, भाषाओं और आस्थाओं के अद्भुत संगम का प्रतीक है। अमरदीप सिंह द्वारा प्रस्तुत एलेगरी द टेपेस्ट्री ऑफ गुरु नानक ट्रैवल के 20वें एपिसोड में ये स्पष्ट होता है कि गुरु नानक देव जी की यात्रा केवल एक धर्म गुरु की यात्रा नहीं थी, बल्कि वे एक ऐसी चेतना की यात्रा थी जिसने विश्व को जोड़ा, तोड़ा नहीं। रंग बिरंगे फूलों का गुच्छा इस बात का प्रतीक है कि संसार की जितनी विविधताएं हैं, भाषा, संस्कृति, धर्म, जाति, रंग, वे सब मिलकर एक सुंदर गुलदस्ता बनाते हैं। गुरु नानक देव जी ने जिस तरह हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, साधु, फकीर और आम जनता से संवाद किया, वह उनके व्यापक दृष्टिकोण और गहन करुणा का उदाहरण है। ये एपिसोड हमें ये सिखाता है कि हमें विविधता से डरना नहीं चाहिए, बल्कि उसे अपनाना चाहिए। एक बगीचे की सुंदरता तभी होती है जब उसमें रंग बिरंगी उनके फूल हों, रंग बिरंगे अनेक फूल हों। गुरु नानक देव जी की यात्राओं में केवल चलना नहीं था, वह एक आत्मिक तपस्या थी। वे लोगों से मिलते थे, सवाल पूछते थे, जवाब देते थे और फिर आगे बढ़ते जाते थे। जैसे कोई माली हर बगीचे से एक फूल चुनकर एक अनुभव, एक सीख, एक रंग अपने अंदर समेटता है, वैसे ही उनकी यात्राएं थी। यह एपिसोड दर्शकों को ये सोचने पर मजबूर कर देता है कि क्या हम भी अपने जीवन की यात्रा में ऐसे ही अनुभव समेट रहे हैं या केवल आगे बढ़ने की दौड़ में लगे हुए। किन गुलदस्ता ने केवल गुरु नानक देव जी की यात्रा का एक सुंदर किन गुलदस्ता न केवल गुरु नानक देव जी की यात्रा का एक सुंदर अध्याय है, बल्कि ये हर दर्शक को अंदर एक गहरा प्रभाव छोड़ जाता है। साक्षी खन्ना। I haven't read so much Hindi together for a long time. Not bad.
It was wonderful, sir.
थैंक यू सर। यही बात है कि ये गुड स्कूल में भी यही करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आप कोई चीज को एक्सपीरियंस करो, उसके बारे में सोचो, तभी आपके अंदर वो बात जाएगी। हम जिंदगी में रोज की जो हमारी जिंदगी है, इतनी भाग दौड़ से भर गई है कि हम सोचते कम हैं। तो यही पॉइंट जो साक्षी ने इसमें लिखा है मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपको जो भी अनुभव हो रहा है उसके बारे में सोचना चाहिए, सीख तभी मिलेगी हमारे। So that's what I personally loved about this post, that you should reflect, and that captures the essence of you know.
So your voice is not audible for me.
Okay, that should be better now. So that's what I liked about it. The fact that Sakshi has, that's why I even commented in it, right? That's great, Sakshi. You have clearly reflected on what you saw. So that's the first point, that she actually thought about what she saw, right? It's a message to us all. Are we reflecting on our experience or just focused on running ahead? I really like that piece of. Okay. So I thought that was good. And then there are some other good reflections from Tina and her colleagues. And then there is what I liked about what some of the sunbeam reflections. I think it's Leher Sara. Is that they're in their own words. There are some which are, I think you've got a little bit of help from outside, but others are, in their own words, which is what I really liked about them. Anybody here? I don't think these guys are here today. Anybody wants to read this?
Yes, sir. May I?
Sorry, who's that?
Suman Mishra.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir, I am reading. In today's session, we explore Guru Nanak's journey from Srinagar to Sultanpur. Along here with him, Amardeep sir had made a great video of this journey. He went to Punjab in Pakistan, where many Gurudwara were made, which shows that also in Pakistan, Sikhism is very popular. I'm very happy to see that. I also appreciate Bhai Mardana, who have traveled along with Guru Nanak. In this video, it is also mentioned that Guru Nanak had broken the arrogance. Also, there is a handprint of Guru Nanak Dev on a rock. Overall, it was a very good session. And now I have become more interested in knowing more about Guru Nanak's life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Atharv also, I think is got a different aspect. Anybody wants to read? Garima, okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. When Guru Nanak went to Pakistan, it was like a big adventure. He walked a lot and met many people. He talked to them kindly and told them that everyone is equal and we should love each other. He wasn't scared of going far away because he wanted to share good things about God. Guru Nanak smiled and listened to people and helped them to be kind. He went to many places like Guru Nanak Sahib and made friends with everyone. I think his trip was super special and full of love. By Athar Sharaf.
Thank you, Garima. So I think, there's some very nice, reflections coming in, and the advantage of reflecting really is that we'll actually think and absorb the concept, right? So that's the purpose of reflection. So I'm leaving a couple of them, and I thought this is on the inner life of animals, which you just read. So somebody wants to read this?
Garima.
Yeah, Garma's just read. If Suman has just read, if nobody else wants to read, we'll come back to them. Anybody else? Okay,
Khushi,
Suman,
do
go
you
for
wish
it.
to read? Khushi,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, please read this.
Okay, so The Inner Life of Animals by Peter Wolben offers a compelling exploration of animals' emotions, intelligence, and social structures, challenging anthropocentric views and promoting reflections on our relationship with the animal kingdom. The book uses anecdotes and scientific research to demonstrate that animals experience a rich emotional life, possesses complexion, social dynamics, and exhibit behaviors like play, planning, and even grief, mirroring human experiences by Purav.
Yeah. So, what is anthropocentric? Anybody? What does anthropocentric mean? Anybody? What does anthropocentric mean?
So your voice is a little low.
Okay, what does anthropocentric mean? Is it better?
Yes, sir.
Anthropocentric, what does it mean? If you don't know, Google it. Okay. So when I Googled it, it says regarding humankind as the central or the most important element of existence, especially as opposed to God or animals. Okay. So relation to human being. So I mean, that's on. Let's see. Again on Guru Nanak, we'll skip it. Okay, this is the last one. Let's anybody? Suman, you want to go for it? Or somebody else who hasn't read? If not, then Suman,
Yes,
please read.
may I?
Uh,
Is there
who was that?
somebody else apart from Suman and Garima who wish to read?
Yes, ma'am, but Suman is my mother's name, actually.
Sorry, I didn't
Somebody
get
said
that.
Suman is my mother's name. So what is the child's name? What's your name actually?
Mishra.
Pardon?
Astha, ma'am. Astha.
All right,
Astha,
Astha.
okay. Okay.
So Kajal
Yeah, okay. So,
Kushwaha.
yeah, Kajal, please read this.
Yes, ma'am. In the chapter Comfort from the Inner Life of Animals by Peter Waldman, the author shows how animals seek and enjoy comfort just like humans. He describes how animals rest in cozy spots, groom each other, and enjoy warmth and safety. These actions are not just instincts, they show that animals can feel peace, relaxation, and even happiness. Waldman uses real stories from the forest to help us understand that animals have emotions. This chapter reminds us to respect animals not just for what they do, but for what they feel inside, even if they cannot express it in words. By Ms. Jeff Kumar.
So, thank you. Thank you. So, let me stop sharing here, Manisha, and hand it over to you.
Yes, sir. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you all doing?
Fine.
All well? Everyone good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, did you all have completed your test and all? So, did you complete or you haven't completed yet? The periodics or the unit test?
Ma'am, we
Completed?
have finished. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So, do anyone wish to share some incident which has taken a little different part of their life, or like you have really enjoyed some kind of scene in the school, or you wanted to reflect on something and that actually has happened? Any scene in the school or classroom?
Um,
Yes, Garima?
Ma'am, I would like to share that the story competition that you have told us about.
Okay.
One
So what
of
was
my
it?
friends, known, her name is Swati Maurya. She has secured the second position.
Oh, that's wonderful. So how
And
did you feel when she's
has taken up the second position. What was there in your mind?
I'm really happy.
You were happy for her?
Yeah,
So you congratulated her?
yeah, I did.
Very good. That's very good. And that is sportsmanship. So very good. Do somebody else wish to share something else?
Yes, ma'am, I want.
Yeah, tell me.
Asta, you're on mute.
Yeah,
Fine now.
I'm sorry. Uh, on the day of Thursday, I guess, there was one session of Mr. Anit and Ritu Malhotra ma'am in Sunbeam School, Balia. They both had came in our school and taken a session on SDG goals, that how we have to prevent our world by following SDG goals, like by not wasting the water, how we can use papers instead of tissues, how we can stop using plastics and all. That was very nice. Among like there is a fact that we can hear a person not more than 1 minute, and we can hear a person at least for 2 hours. So they both were like that. We can hear them 24 hours. Like they were speaking like that, and I can bet that you will also, if you will both hear them now, you will also feel like yeah, they have something talent in them, that how to speak and how to handle such kind of uh, assembly.
Exactly. So what
And
is
what
my
did you
today
think about? Sorry, Manisha. Go ahead.
SDG? No, sir, SDG goal. You were saying something about that.
No, I was just wanting to know from Asta first thing. Which school are you from, Asta?
Sunbeam School, Balia.
Palia. Okay, great. So, there's an organization, I think it must be the same one. I met them in Jaipur recently, and they're working with the Sunbeam schools on the environment side. So maybe it's the same organization. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Manisha.
Okay. So can you all see my screen? Is my screen
Yep.
visible?
Yes, yes.
So I just want to know what is the name of the chapter mentioned here.
Swayam Badlav.
So what does it mean? इसका मतलब क्या है?
It means that if we have to create a change in someone else, so we ourselves have to become the change first.
Exactly. So आपकी क्लास में या स्कूल में या कहीं पे कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है और आप उसका सोल्यूशन देते हैं, तो वो सोल्यूशन आप दिल से देते हैं कि दिमाग से देते हैं? दैट इज व्हाट ऑल अबाउट अ चैप्टर इज. अगर हम चाहते हैं कि कुछ चेंजेस आए दुनिया में, तो उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होगा? वो चेंजेस खुद में इम्प्लीमेंट करनी होगी और वो खुद में हमें वो चेंजेस लाने पड़ेंगे. सो लेट्स रीड द चैप्टर टुडे. आप दुनिया में जो बदलाव देखना चाहते हैं, आपको स्वयं वो बदलाव बनना पड़ेगा. एम के गांधी. सो गांधी जी ने बोला है कि दुनिया से कुछ एक्सपेक्ट करने से पहले वो चीजें हमें खुद के अंदर लानी पड़ेगी, वो क्वालिटीज लानी पड़ेगी, स्किल्स लानी चाहिए, जिससे हम दुनिया को कॉन्फिडेंटली बोल सके कि यस वी कैन डू दिस. एल्स लोग क्या समझेंगे? वो यही समझेंगे कि हम तो सिर्फ बातें कर रहे हैं और हम चेंजेस चाहते ही नहीं है. हम कितना कुछ बदलना चाहते हैं. हम सीमाएं, नीतियां, वातावरण, व्यापार करने के तरीके और लोगों से जिस तरीके से व्यवहार करते हैं, ये सब बदलना चाहते हैं. हम बदलाव की आवश्यकता के बारे में बात करते हैं. हम सुझाव देते हैं कि कैसे बदलाव लाया जा सकता है. अक्सर बदलने के अपने इस प्रयास में हम बदलने का भार किसी और पर डाल देते हैं. हम ये भूल जाते हैं कि दुनिया पर हमारा नियंत्रण बहुत कम है. हमारा जिस चीज पर नियंत्रण है वो है खुद अपने ऊपर. तो पहले हम बदलाव अपने ऊपर लाएंगे, क्योंकि दुनिया हमारे हाथों में नहीं है. हमारे हाथ में क्या है? चेंजेस छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स लेके अपने अंदर करना. फिर भी हम अपने भीतर देखने के बजाय बाहर ही देखते हैं. महात्मा गांधी की ये शब्द कितने सच है. मनुष्य होने के नाते हमारी महानता इस दुनिया का पुनर्निर्माण कर पाने में उतनी नहीं है. ये इस आणविक युग का मिथक है, जितना कि स्वयं का पुनर्निर्माण कर पाने में है. हम अपने बच्चों को बदलना चाहते हैं. आखिरकार ये किताब बच्चों को बदलने के बारे में, उनकी बेहतरी के लिए ही तो है. हमारे बच्चे भी बहुत कुछ बदलना चाहते हैं, लेकिन हम में से बहुत से लोग ये नहीं जानते कि हमारे बच्चे क्या बदलना चाहते हैं। हम उनमें इस बारे में बात नहीं करते क्योंकि हमारे पास समय नहीं है, या फिर हमें लगता है कि अभी हमारा बच्चा ये सब बातें करने के लिए बहुत छोटा है। अगर हम उनके साथ ये चर्चा करें कि उन्हें जो कुछ भी कहना है उसे सुनकर हमें हैरत होगी। मैं कई बार बच्चों से पूछता हूँ कि वह क्या बदलना चाहते हैं। सेम क्वेश्चन मैं आपसे भी पूछना चाहती हूँ। आप कुछ चेंजेस चाहते हैं अपने स्कूल में, अपने लाइफ में, अपने घर में? कोई शेयर करना चाहेगा? एनीवन? क्या आप बताना चाहेंगे कि आप क्या चेंज करना चाहते हैं? यस गरिमा, डू यू विश टू से समथिंग?
Ma'am, I just want some time to,
थिंक।
yeah.
नो प्रॉब्लम। अगर मैं आपकी जगह होती तो मैं कहती कि मुझे होमवर्क नहीं चाहिए स्कूल में और टेस्ट नहीं चाहिए। तो डू यू ऑल एग्री विथ मी कि आप लोगों को टेस्ट और होमवर्क चाहिए? यस।
Ma'am, we want homework, but we want some innovative or some interesting homework, not like complete your notebook, read this chapter. We want some interesting homeworks to do in our weekends.
So example, can you share some example?
Yeah, like if we all are getting homeworks like complete this chapter, make notes of this chapter. Instead of doing that, we can add like uh, surround in your environment and make a project or make an assignment on that. While you can find recently we are studying a chapter tissue in biology, and I am consisting homework to make notes on that, and I have to do it today. So I was thinking that if I get homework like examine some leaves and try to find out tissues in that, so that would be interesting instead of making theoretical notes.
So you are trying to say कि alternatives to homework is required instead of direct
Yes,
homework for completing the notes and question answers, fill up something that way, right?
yes, ma'am, exactly.
Yeah. So somebody else wish to share? आप क्या चेंजेस लाना चाहते हैं या आपको क्या लगता है कि चेंजेस होना चाहिए?
Ma'am, I would like a green and clean environment.
And how will that happen? कैसे होना चाहिए वो?
Like we should use like 3 R's: reduce, recycle, reuse.
लवली। सो आप उसका प्रोजेक्ट बनाइए और स्कूल में देखिए किस तरीके से होता है, अपने साइंस टीचर्स को बताइए, वो आपको बोलेंगे। सो लेट्स गो अहेड विद द चैप्टर। उन्हें बहुत कुछ कहना होता है अभी, इसीलिए मैंने आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछा कि आप क्या बदलाव चाहते हैं। तो आपको 3 R's के हिसाब से रिड्यूस, रिसाइकिल, रिफ्यूज भी हो सकता है इसमें, रेड्यूस के अलावा। सो आप इस तरीके से बदलाव ला सकते हैं। ऑल्टरनेटिव टू होमवर्क आपने खुद बोला है, उस हिसाब से चाहिए। सो उन्हें होमवर्क और परीक्षाएं नहीं चाहिए, चैप्टर में भी लिखा हुआ है। वे नहीं चाहते कि उनके सहपाठी उन्हें चिढ़ाएं। यस, वी शुड नॉट मेक फन ऑफ ईच अदर। वे चाहते हैं कि ये दुनिया और भी खुशनुमा जगह बन जाए। वे चाहते हैं कि उनके माता पिता हर वक्त माता पिता नहीं बने रहे। सो क्या आप लोग को भी ऐसे लगता है कि आपके पेरेंट्स आपके फ्रेंड होना चाहिए, एंड पेरेंट्स की तरह, एक अडल्ट की तरह आपको हमेशा ट्रीट नहीं करे, एंड बडी बडी की तरह ट्रीट करे?
Yes,
ऐसा लगता है
ma'am.
किसी को? सो आप लोग के पेरेंट्स कैसे हैं? मतलब आप बडीज हैं उनके?
हाँ, मेरे पेरेंट्स तो बहुत फ्रेंडली रहते हैं मेरे साथ.
वाओ, सो स्वीट। सो आप कोई इंसिडेंट शेयर करना चाहेंगे?
Um, Let me think, ma'am.
ठीक है, विल कम बैक टू दैट। उन्हें गुणवत्ता पूर्ण समय और व्यक्तिगत ध्यान चाहिए। वे चाहते हैं कि उनके माता पिता उनके आदर्श बने। सो वी ऑल वांट कि हमारे पेरेंट्स जो है हमारे रोल मॉडल बने, हमसे फ्रेंड्स के हिसाब से बात करें, एंड हर समय ये नहीं बोले कि सुबह उठो, ये काम करो, वो काम करो और उसके बाद सिर्फ पढ़ाई करो। हमारी तरह हमारे बच्चे भी दूसरों को बदलना चाहते हैं। वे बदलाव देखने के लिए तैयार हैं, लेकिन खुद को बदलने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। नाउ दिस इज द आयरनी। हम चाहते तो है चेंजेस, बट हम खुद चेंजेस नहीं करना चाहते अपने आप में। उनसे ये कहकर देखिए कि दूसरों को छेड़ना बंद कर दे और आपको जवाब मिलेगा, लेकिन उसी ने शुरुआत की थी। रेगुलर क्लासरूम सिचुएशन, आपस में आप लोग की फाइट होती है सिर्फ इसी चीज के लिए कि उसने शुरुआत की थी, मैंने तो सिर्फ आंसर दिया है। मैंने नहीं। क्या आप चाहते हैं कि मैं प्रतिकार भी नहीं करूं? I'll get back to you Asta on this. अभी तक मैंने जिन मूल्यों के बारे में चर्चा की है, उनमें से इस बात को समझना कि बदलाव खुद से शुरू होना चाहिए, इस बात को अपने में ढालना सबसे कठिन है। माता पिता होने के नाते जो बदलाव हम दुनिया और अपने बच्चों में देखना चाहते हैं, हमें पहले स्वयं वो बदलाव बनना चाहिए। अगर हम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते तो फिर अच्छा ही होगा कि हम अपने बच्चों के साथ इस विषय पर चर्चा नहीं करें। हमें अपनी आलोचना कितनी बुरी लगती है, लेकिन हम अपने बच्चों की अक्सर आलोचना करते हैं। हमें अपनी तारीफ सुनना बहुत पसंद है, लेकिन हम अपने बच्चों की तारीफ कितनी बार करते हैं? हम पर पुरस्कार मिलने पर, पढ़ाई में अव्वल आने पर और खेलकूद में जीतने पर तो तारीफ करते हैं, लेकिन क्या हम छोटी छोटी उपलब्धियों के लिए उनकी तारीफ करते हैं? क्या हम अच्छे व्यवहार के लिए उनकी तारीफ करते हैं? हम इसे सहज ही ले लेते हैं, है ना? अगर हम उनकी आलोचना करना बंद कर दें और खुलकर उनकी प्रशंसा करें, तो वे भी अपने साथ ऐसा ही करेंगे। हम अक्सर खुद से कहते हैं, अब खुद को बदलना कितना मुश्किल है, मेरी तो आदत ही बन गई है। तो फिर हमें अपने 12 साल के बच्चे के मुंह से ये सुनकर हैरान नहीं होना चाहिए, मैं तो ऐसा बहुत समय से कर रहा हूं, अब मैं नहीं बदल सकता, या मैं खुद को बदलना चाहता हूं, लेकिन पहले आप खुद को बदल कर ये दिखाइए कि मैं ये कैसे करूं। ऐसा हुआ है किसी के साथ कि आप चाहते हैं तो भी आप अपने आप को चेंज नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि आपके पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ बन गया है वो, एंड समहाउ आप नहीं मैनेज कर पा रहे न्यू चेंजेस? किसी के साथ ऐसा हुआ है? Jugji
There's a
sir,
lot,
do you
man.
want to say something on this?
Yes, changing habits is very tough because the part of your brain which runs habits is just happening in routine. So to change that, मुश्किल काम है, आसान काम नहीं है अगर habit है तो.
So there's a tiebreaker, I believe, 21 days. अगर कुछ चेंजेस चाहिए तो हमें वो 21 दिन तक उसी काम को रिपीटेडली करना चाहिए जिस तरीके से चेंजेस हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर सके। सो नेक्स्ट टाइम अगर आप कोई भी अपने लाइफ में चेंजेस करना चाहें तो वो 21 डेज का टारगेट अपने आप को दीजिए। 21 दिन बाद आप देखेंगे कि हाँ, चेंजेस स्टार्ट हो गए। कुछ साल पहले 2 अक्टूबर को हम तीनों राजघाट गए। हम कुछ समय तक राजघाट में अनुभव होने वाली शांति का आनंद लेते रहे। महात्मा गांधी मेरे आदर्श है और मैं ये इंतजार कर रहा था कि देवांग उस उम्र तक पहुंचे जब हम दोनों गांधी जी के जीवन, उनके मूल्यों और सिद्धांतों के बारे में बात करना शुरू कर सके। राजघाट के भ्रमण ने उस चर्चा के लिए मंच तैयार कर दिया। गांधी जी ने खुद को बदला और इस प्रक्रिया में उन्होंने दुनिया को बदल दिया। उनके लिए सत्य और अहिंसा उनके मार्गदर्शी सिद्धांत थे जिनका उन्होंने जीवन भर पालन किया। उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करना दूसरों को प्रभावित करने का प्रमुख माध्यम नहीं है, यही एकमात्र माध्यम है, एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन ने कहा था। इस बार एक महिला अपने बेटे को गांधी जी के पास लेकर आई। उसे चिंता थी कि उसका बेटा बहुत गुड़ खाता था और इससे उसकी सेहत खराब हो सकती थी। उसने गांधी जी से विनती की कि वो इस विषय में परामर्श दे। गांधी जी ने कुछ देर विचार किया और उस महिला से अपने बेटे को कुछ दिन बाद लेकर आने को कहा। जब वे कुछ दिन बाद आए तो गांधी जी ने उस लड़के से कहा कि उसे ज्यादा गुड़ नहीं खाना चाहिए क्योंकि उसके नुकसान हो सकता है। वह महिला बहुत हैरान हुई। उसने गांधी जी से पूछा कि यही बात उन्होंने पहली मुलाकात में क्यों नहीं की। तो अब गांधी जी ने क्या बोला होगा, क्या आप गेस कर सकते हैं इसको? कैन एनीवन
Mom,
गेस?
may
हाँ
I?
जी, हाँ जी
It
प्लीज।
might be like Gandhiji himself ate good.
यस,
शायद
Correct.
जी खुद भी उतना ही गुड़ खाते थे, ताकि उन्होंने अगली मुलाकात इसलिए रखी ताकि वो पहले अपनी आदत छोड़ सके गुड़ खाने की और तब किसी और को बोले।
वेरी गुड। सो ही वांटेड टू
Very
बी
good.
अ रोल मॉडल। वो खुद गुड़ बहुत पसंद से खाते थे, बहुत खुशी से खाते थे। तो वो चाहते थे कि पहले मैं अपनी आदत को चेंज करूं, उसके बाद ही तो मैं रोल मॉडल बनूंगा। जो काम मैं खुद कर रहा हूं उसको मैं किसी से बोलने से कैसे मना कर सकता हूँ? यस, यू आर वेरी राइट। थैंक यू सो मच। गांधी जी ने जवाब दिया, मुझे कुछ दिन खुद गुड़ छोड़ने के लिए चाहिए थे, ताकि मैं तुम्हारे बेटे को पूर्ण विश्वास के साथ परामर्श दे सकूं। जब उन्होंने आश्रम में रहना शुरू किया, तो उनको आश्रम में रहने वाले सब लोगों से अपेक्षा थी कि वे आश्रम के नियमों का पालन करें। इन नियमों में नैतिक मूल्यों का पालन करना, शौचालयों की सफाई, निजी स्वतंत्रता, अहिंसा, प्रार्थना और सत्य सम्मिलित थे। देवांग, अगर कोई राह से भटक जाता था तो तुम्हें क्या लगता है गांधी जी कैसे प्रतिक्रिया दिखाते थे? अधिकतर लोग क्या करते, मैंने पूछा। इस पर देवांग बोले, उन्हें सजा देकर दूसरे लोगों के लिए उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करते, ताकि दूसरे लोग वही गलती नहीं करें। लेकिन गांधी जी अलग थे। उन्होंने अनेक अवसरों पर खाना छोड़ दिया, क्योंकि आश्रम में किसी ने झूठ बोला था या फिर चोरी की थी, या उच्च नैतिक मानकों के विरुद्ध बहुत सस्ता व्यवहार था। आपको लगता है कि किसी को पनिश करने की जगह खुद को पनिश करना इज अ गुड थिंग, जैसे यहाँ पे गांधी जी कर रहे थे? अगर किसी ने कोई गलती करी तो वो खुद खाना छोड़ देते थे, वो अपने आप को परेशान करते थे, क्योंकि भूख लगने से नेचुरली पेन तो होगा उन्हें। तो वाज इट अ गुड आइडिया?
No, no, ma'am.
ओके,
Ma'am,
सो
I'm learning this in history. Gandhi ji's ahimsa.
सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, अगर आज के जमाने में आपकी क्लास में कोई फाइट होती है या घर में कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है, जो करता है घर का द हेड ऑफ द फैमिली, वो आपको समझाने की जगह, बात करने की जगह इस तरीके से करे कि खुद खाना छोड़ दे, अपने रूम में लॉक हो जाए, तो आपके ऊपर क्या इंप्रेशन आएगा? व्हाट विल बी योर टेक अवे और कॉल ऑन दिस?
I personally wouldn't like it because it's basically guilt tripping. But
ओके,
when we look at from a protest side, then yes, it is quite effective because they are guilt tripping the authorities into thinking that what they are doing is wrong.
सो यू पर्सनली इज नॉट गोइंग टू लाइक इट। थैंक यू फॉर बीइंग ऑनेस्ट। उन्होंने डांटने या सजा देने की कोशिश नहीं की, बल्कि उन्होंने खुद को पीड़ा पहुंचाकर उन लोगों की आत्मा तक पहुंचने की कोशिश की जिन्होंने पाप किया था। सो गांधी जी ये सोचते थे कि लोगों को खुद रियलाइज होना चाहिए कि कुछ गलती उन्होंने करी है, एंड जब तक सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन नहीं होगा, आप ऊपर से कितने भी लेक्चर किसी को दे दो, कितनी भी बातें लोगों को बोल दो, वो नहीं अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे। सो दिस वाज हिज वे। वो चाहते थे कि अपने आप लोग रियलाइज करें, एंड दिस इज वाई वो उन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा सैक्रिफाइस किया था। और वो सैक्रिफाइस में उन्होंने खाना भी छोड़ दिया था, कई चीजें उन्होंने छोड़ी थी। लेट्स सी चैप्टर में आगे क्या है। उन्होंने गरीबी में जीने का भी चुनाव किया, क्योंकि वह ऐसे लोगों का नेतृत्व कर रहे थे जिनमें से बहुत से लोग गरीबी में जी रहे थे। किसी जमाने में उन्हें बेहतरीन अंग्रेजी कपड़े पहनने का शौक था, लेकिन अब वो एक धोती और शॉल पहनना ही पसंद करते थे। वह खुद कपड़ा बुनते थे, और इस प्रकार उन्होंने हजारों लोगों का अपना अनुसरण करना सिखाया। उनके अनुसार अभ्यास का एक छोटा सा भाग भी उपदेश के कई टनों से ज्यादा मूल्यवान है। जब गांधी जी ने अहिंसा और सत्याग्रह के सिद्धांतों का प्रयोग करके भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम का नेतृत्व किया, तो वे जानते थे कि बहुत से ऐसे लोगों का ये मानना था कि उनके सिद्धांत स्वतंत्रता प्राप्त करने में सहायक नहीं होंगे। उन्हें अपने विचारों के तुरंत स्वीकार होने की अपेक्षा भी नहीं थी। उन्होंने जोर दिया, मैं तब तक इंतजार नहीं करूंगा जब तक कि मैं सारे समाज को अपने दृष्टिकोण के अनुसार ढाल नहीं लेता, बल्कि मैं अभी इसी वक्त खुद अपने से ही शुरुआत करूंगा। उसी विश्वास के साथ उन्होंने भारत की आजादी दिलाई। इन सालों के दौरान देवांग और मैंने गांधी जी के जीवन में अनेक उदाहरणों पर चर्चा की है। जब भी मुझे सहन शक्ति, अहिंसा या उदाहरण प्रस्तुत करके नेतृत्व का कोई उदाहरण दिखता, मैं उसे देवांग के साथ जरूर बांटता। हमने गांधी फिल्म एक से अधिक बार देखी है। मैंने कई बार ये सलाह दी है कि माता पिता ये फिल्म अपने बच्चों के साथ देखें। बच्चे अक्सर ये शिकायत करते हैं कि उनके पास अपना काम पूरा करने के लिए पर्याप्त संसाधन नहीं है, लेकिन इतने सालों में मैंने ये जाना है कि उनको सिर्फ समझाने या सलाह देने के बजाय अगर मैं कोई उदाहरण दूं तो मैं ज्यादा बेहतर रूप से उनके उद्देश्य में सफल होऊंगा। मुझे जो उदाहरण देना सबसे अच्छा लगता है वह है दशरथ मांझी का। सो जनरली हमारे आसपास बहुत से ऐसे लोग हैं जो काम नहीं करना चाहते हैं, तो वो छोटे छोटे एक्सक्यूजेस को लेकर के आ जाते। वो कहते कि हमारे पास ये सामान नहीं था, अगर कुछ नोट्स बनाना है तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं थी। वो ये नहीं देखेंगे कि उन्होंने टाइम वेस्ट किया, टाइम मैनेज नहीं किया। टाइम मैनेजमेंट नहीं करने की जगह वो छोटे छोटे एक्सक्यूजेस लाएंगे, स्टेशनरी का बहाना बनाएंगे, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बहाना बनाएंगे। वो ये बोलेंगे कि हम फैमिली ट्रिप में चले गए, बल्कि और ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि हम टाइम मैनेज नहीं कर पाए। सो यहाँ पे राइटर ये कह रहे हैं कि दशरथ मांझी का वो एग्जाम्पल उनको बहुत ज्यादा पसंद है। आप लोग जानते हो दशरथ मांझी कौन है? क्या किसी ने
यस
सुना है इनके बारे में?
यस मैम।
हाँ बेटा, क्या सुना आपने दशरथ मांझी के बारे में?
मैम उनकी जो वाइफ थी वो एक इनकन्वीनियंस की वजह से हॉस्पिटल नहीं जा पाई थी, जो कि था वो रोड, जो रास्ता था, जो पहाड़ था, वो एक इनकन्वीनियंस की तरह वहां पे प्ले कर रहा था रोड। तो उनकी वाइफ की डेथ के बाद दशरथ मांझी ने केवल एक हथौड़ी और एक छलनी से उस पूरे पहाड़ को तोड़ के एक रास्ता बनाया, ताकि जो कंडीशन वाइफ के साथ हुई थी वो कंडीशन अब किसी और के साथ ना हो। और अब
वेरी
बहुत ही इजी तरीके से लोग उस रास्ते को यूज करते हैं और जल्द से जल्द हॉस्पिटल पहुंच सकते हैं।
करेक्ट। सो यहाँ पे दशरथ मांझी का एग्जाम्पल सबको दिया जाना चाहिए, बिकॉज इससे बहुत ज्यादा इंस्पिरेशन मिलती है। एंड ही वॉज एक्चुअली अ रोल मॉडल कि बस छोटे से चीजों के कारण जो प्रॉब्लम्स उनके पास आई वो साथ में वो सॉल्व नहीं कर पा रहे थे, तो उन्होंने अकेले ही खड़ा होकर के काम करने का मन बना लिया एंड अपने आप को एक रोल मॉडल की तरह स्थापित किया। वह बिहार राज्य के एक छोटे से गांव में एक मजदूर थे। उनका गांव एक पहाड़ के पास था और सबसे नजदीक के शहर में पहुंचने के लिए या तो एक संकरे खतरनाक दर्रे से होकर गुजरना पड़ता था या फिर पहाड़ की परिक्रमा करके जाना पड़ता था। परिक्रमा का मतलब पता है आपको?
यस मैम।
क्या है बेटा?
चक्कर लगाना।
एक दिन मांझी की पत्नी पहाड़ पार करते समय गंभीर रूप से घायल हो गई। सबसे करीबी डॉक्टर 70 किलोमीटर दूर था। मांझी ने निर्णय लिया कि उनके गांव और शहर के बीच की इस दूरी को कम करने के लिए कुछ तो करना ही पड़ेगा। प्रशासन को कई अर्जियां भेजी गई थी, लेकिन उन पर कोई कार्यवाही नहीं की गई थी। उन्हें भरोसा नहीं था कि गांव वाले उस समस्या का कोई समाधान ढूंढने के विषय में दृढ़ संकल्पित थे या नहीं। मांझी ने निश्चय किया कि जो बदलाव वह देखना चाहते थे वो स्वयं वह बदलाव बनेंगे। एक हथौड़ा, छैनी और फावड़ा से लैस होकर उन्होंने पहाड़ के बीच से रास्ता बनाना शुरू कर दिया। वह दिन रात अकेले ही काम करते रहे। उनका निश्चय इतना दृढ़ था कि उन्होंने अपनी महत्वाकांक्षा को पूरा करने के लिए खेतों में काम करना छोड़ दिया। चूंकि मांझी ने कमाना बंद कर दिया था, इसलिए उनके परिवार को बहुत मुश्किलों से गुजरना पड़ा। कई दिनों तक उन्हें बिना भोजन के रहना पड़ा। जब वह रास्ता बना रहे थे, उनकी पत्नी गंभीर रूप से बीमार पड़ गई। अस्पताल नहीं पहुंच पाने के कारण उनकी मृत्यु हो गई। उन्हें खो देने के दुख में मांझी के निर्णय को और सशक्त कर दिया। कई गांव वालों ने सोचा कि मांझी पागल हो रहा है, क्योंकि गिने चुने औजारों के साथ एक अकेले व्यक्ति के लिए ये काम करना असंभव प्रतीत हो रहा था। लेकिन मांझी अडिग लगे रहे। 1982 में 22 साल के अथक परिश्रम और लगन के बाद उनकी सड़क बनकर तैयार हो गई थी। उन्होंने पहाड़ को काटकर, जस्ट गिव मी अ मिनट प्लीज।
उन्होंने पहाड़ को काटकर 360 फीट लंबी और 30 फीट चौड़ी सड़क बनाई थी। ओके मनीषा?
वह रास्ता जो कभी महज 1 फुट का था, अब उस पर से साइकिल और मोटरसाइकिल गुजर सकते थे। और उसने न केवल उस गांव के निवासियों का बल्कि आसपास के 60 अन्य गांवों का जीवन बदल दिया है। उनके प्रयासों ने गांव से शहर तक की दूरी को 70 किलोमीटर से घटाकर 15 किलोमीटर कर दिया। कैन यू सी द ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस? 70 किलोमीटर से 15 किलोमीटर। कितनी मेहनत करी होगी उन्होंने अकेले। दशरथ मांझी ने बिना किसी संसाधन मीन्स रिसोर्सेस के मात्र अपने बदलाव लाने की इच्छा शक्ति से वह कर दिखाया जो असंभव सा प्रतीत हो रहा था। मैं कार्य क्षेत्रों में, सामाजिक कार्यक्रमों में और आश्चर्यजनक रूप से क्लिनिक में भी संसाधनों की कमी के बारे में सुनता हूँ। माता पिता अक्सर बात करते हैं कि कैसे कक्षा में अधिक बच्चे होने के कारण उन्हें शिक्षकों की ओर से व्यक्तिगत ध्यान नहीं मिल पाता। हम लोग सब आपस में बात करते हैं कि टीचर्स जनरली हमें पर्सनल अटेंशन नहीं दे पाते, बट एक्चुअली यहाँ पे पर्सनल अटेंशन टीचर्स से या किसी और की जगह हमें खुद अपने स्किल्स और अपने रिसोर्सेस पे ध्यान देना चाहिए, जैसे कि हम एक बेटर अपने आप को बेटर कर सके डे बाय डे। सीमित संसाधनों के चलते परियोजनाओं के लिए कम सहारा मिलता है, उनका कहना है। साथ ही वह ये भी कहते हैं कि उनके प्रदर्शन पर इसका विपरीत प्रभाव पड़ता है। जब बच्चे अपने माता पिता को इस तरीके से बहाने पर जोर देते हुए सुनते हैं तो वे भी बहाने बनाना सीख जाते हैं। मैं बहुत ही नरमी से माता पिता से कहना चाहता हूँ कि जहाँ शिक्षकों के पास ध्यान देने के लिए इतने सारे बच्चे होते हैं, माता पिता के पास ध्यान रखने के लिए 1 या 2 या 3 ही बच्चे होते, तो फिर उन्हें घर में ज्यादा व्यक्तिगत ध्यान क्यों नहीं मिल सकता? जितने परिवारों को मैं देखता हूँ, 95% में 3 से कम बच्चे और 25% में केवल एक ही बच्चा है। दूसरों को दोष देना कितना सुविधाजनक है, लेकिन ये पहचानना कितना मुश्किल है कि क्या हम कर सकते हैं। सुभाषिनी मिस्त्री 14 संतानों में से एक थी। उनके भाई बहनों में से 7 की बचपन में ही मृत्यु हो गई थी। 12 साल की उम्र में उनकी शादी हो गई। उनके 4 बच्चों का भरण पोषण उनके पति की छोटी सी आय से बहुत मुश्किल से हो पाता था। 23 साल की उम्र में उचित इलाज के अभाव में उनके पति की मृत्यु हो गई। सुभाषिनी दुख में डूब गई। अपने इसी दुख में उन्होंने एक प्रण किया। वह गरीबों के लिए अस्पताल बनाएंगी ताकि उनकी जैसी परिस्थिति में दूसरों को वो अनुभव नहीं करना पड़े जो उसने किया। क्या आपको लगता है ऐसा पॉसिबल था? जो खुद गरीब हो, जिनके पास रोज का खाने के लिए पैसे नहीं हो, वो किस तरीके से एक हॉस्पिटल बना सकते हैं? बिकॉज हॉस्पिटल एक बहुत बड़ा प्लेस है जिसमें काफी चीजों की जरूरत भी पड़ती है, मशीन्स है, मेडिसिन है और भी कई चीजें होती हैं। तो आपको लगता है ऐसा पॉसिबल हो सकता है? एनीवन?
Ma'am, he might ask for donation to the people he knew.
तो डोनेशन मिलना क्या आसान होता है?
No, ma'am, it's a really difficult task.
सो हाउ शुड वी गो अहेड अगर हमें ऐसा कोई टिपिकल टास्क मिले तो?
Means we first ourselves should do what we want other people to do. Like अगर मैं अपने रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल दूं तो आई मीन PYDS which is an NGO. So it is due to donation that it has been a good school, and for that Swami sir have worked a lot. Means he used to aware people about what he wanted to do for the children and the next generation of India.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शेयरिंग। अपने 4 बच्चों को पालने की जिम्मेदारी अब सुभाषिनी पर आ गई। चूंकि वह अनपढ़ थी, अनपढ़ का मतलब पता है किसी को?
Illiterate.
उनके पास घरों में काम करना ही एकमात्र काम था। वह अपने बच्चों का पेट पालने के लिए मेहनत करती रही, लेकिन पर्याप्त कमाई नहीं कर पाई। उसे 2 बच्चों को अनाथ आश्रम में रखना पड़ा। इमेजिन, अपने खुद के बच्चों को उन्होंने अनाथ आश्रम में रखा। अपनी सारी कठिनाइयों के बीच में भी वह प्रण के बारे में सोचती रही। जब उनकी बेटियों की शादी हो गई और उनका बड़ा बेटा एक मजदूर के रूप में काम करने लगा, तो उसे एहसास हुआ कि उनका अस्पताल बनाने का सपना पूरे करने के लिए किसी एक बच्चे को डॉक्टर बनना होगा। उसका सबसे छोटा बेटा अजय, जो एक अनाथ आश्रम में पला था, एक होनहार छात्र था। सुभाषिनी ने उसे पढ़ाई में मेहनत करने और चिकित्सा के क्षेत्र में आगे पढ़ने के लिए प्रोत्साहित किया। अजय ने ऑल इंडिया मेडिकल एंट्रेंस टेस्ट सफलता पूर्वक पास कर लिया और उसे कलकत्ता मेडिकल कॉलेज में दाखिला मिल गया। एक छात्रवृत्ति के मदद से उसने अपना पूरा कोर्स पूरा किया। इसी बीच अपनी 20 साल में की गई बचत से इस अराउंड 10,000 रुपीज, सुभाषिनी ने अपने पति के गांव में जमीन खरीद ली। अपने पति की मृत्यु के 20 साल बाद सुभाषिनी ने एक झोपड़ी में ह्यूमैनिटी हॉस्पिटल की शुरुआत की। गांव वाले ने घर जाकर दवाइयां इकट्ठी की। पहला डॉक्टर आया और पहले ही दिन 252 मरीजों को देखा गया। सोचो, एक ही दिन में 252 पेशेंट्स आ गए। और दवाइयां कहां से उन्होंने इकट्ठी करी? एक दूसरों के घरों से। अस्पताल के लिए पक्की छत बनाने के लिए अजय ने स्थानीय एमपी से मदद मांगी। एमपी मदद करने के लिए आगे आए। चंदों के माध्यम से ह्यूमैनिटी हॉस्पिटल का विस्तार होता गया। आज उसमें 2 ऑपरेशन थिएटर और 32 बिस्तर हैं और ये 15,000 वर्ग फीट में फैला हुआ है। 15,000 इज 15,000 स्क्वायर मीटर फीट, सॉरी। गरीबों के इस अस्पताल में किसी को भी उपचार के लिए मना नहीं किया जाता। हमें अपने बच्चों के साथ दशरथ मांझी और सुभाषिनी मिस्त्री की कहानी बांटनी चाहिए। खुद उनके पास रिसोर्सेज नहीं थे, खुद उनकी लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम थी, बट उसके बावजूद भी उन्होंने कितना बड़ा काम किया। सो दे आर द रोल मॉडल्स एंड वी शुड बी शेयरिंग देयर स्टोरीज विद अदर पीपल। ये 2 उदाहरण है कि किस तरह से आम पुरुष और स्त्री ने दिखाया है कि बदलाव बनने का जज्बा क्या उपलब्धियां दिला सकता है। ऐसे अनेक अन्य उदाहरण हैं जो हमारे बच्चों को प्रेरित कर सकते हैं। इससे पहले कि हम दूसरों को बदलने के लिए कहें, हमें खुद अपने भीतर देखना होगा। अगली बार जब हम चाहें कि हमारे बच्चे ज्यादा सभ्य या नरम दिल या दयावान हो, तो हमें पहले देखना होगा कि हम खुद अच्छे आचरण वाले और सभ्य है कि नहीं। इससे पहले कि हम उन्हें देर से आने के लिए डांटें, हमें सोचना होगा कि कितनी बार हमने उन्हें इंतजार कराया है। इससे पहले कि हम अपने बच्चों को बदलने को कहें, हमें उन सब बातों की सूची बनानी होगी जो हमें खुद में बदलनी है। हमें अपने बच्चों से कहना चाहिए कि वे हमें बताएं कि हम में क्या बदलाव चाहते हैं। हमें मानसिक रूप से एक लंबी सूची और अनपेक्षित बातों के तैयार रहना होगा। जब मैंने ये अभ्यास देवांग के साथ किया, तो गुणवत्ता, पूर्ण समय बिताना और शांत चित्त रखना सूची में सबसे ऊपर था। मैंने गुणवत्तापूर्ण समय देने के लिए रविवार दोपहर को अन्य कामों के लिए देना बंद कर दिया और शांत चित्त रहने का भरसक प्रयास करने लगा। गुणवत्तापूर्वक पूर्ण का मतलब पता है आपको? गुणवत्तापूर्व समय, एनीवन? इस वर्ड का मतलब पता है? दिस इज क्वालिटी टाइम। सो क्वालिटी टाइम के लिए उन्होंने क्या किया? जो थोड़े बहुत वो काम करते थे, जो ज्यादा वैल्यू के नहीं थे, जो ज्यादा जिस चीज को हम वो बंद कर सकते थे, वो उन्होंने किया। तो आफ्टरनून के टाइम पे उन्होंने क्वालिटी टाइम देना स्टार्ट किया, गुणवत्तापूर्ण क्वालिटी टाइम। और शांत चित्त, शांत चित्त इज व्हाट इज शांत चित्त? शांत चित्त का मतलब पता है?
Calm mind or mood.
शांत चित्त, calm mind. Okay, anything else for this word? शांत का मतलब क्या है? शांति, अशांति, ऑपोजिट्स?
Ma'am, in English we can say peaceful mind.
Yes, इज पीसफुल। शांतचित रहने का भरसक प्रयास करने लगे। सी, जब हम मल्टीटास्किंग तभी कर सकते हैं जब हमारा दिमाग शांत हो, जब हमारा दिल और दिमाग के बीच में एक रास्ता बना हो। सो दैट विल ओनली हैपन जब हम सोचे प्रायोरिटीज क्या है, किस तरीके से हम उसको इंटीग्रेट कर सके चीजों के, और अपने फोकस करें क्वालिटी टाइम में, न कि क्वांटिटी टाइम में। क्वांटिटी आप 4 घंटे पढ़ाई करिए, उसकी जगह आप आधा घंटा पढ़ाई करिए, जहां पे आपका फोकस सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर चीज पे हो, आपका माइंड इधर से उधर ज्यादा नहीं घूमे, तब आप कर सकोगे अच्छी चीजें और अच्छे तरीके से कर पाओगे। So quality time is more important than quantity time. So this one thing we all should be need to take care of and understand that. जब देवांग ने देखा कि उसकी सूची में ये चीजें पूरी की जा रही हैं, तो एक दिन वह मेरे पास आया और बोला, पिताजी, मुझे खुद में जो बदलाव लाने हैं उनकी सूची बनाने में क्या आप मेरी मदद करेंगे? दुनिया आपके उदाहरण से बदली जाती है, आपकी राय से नहीं। सो कुछ सीखा हमने इस चैप्टर के बारे में। क्या सीखा इस चैप्टर से हमने? क्या सीखा बेटा? हाँ गरिमा, आपका हैंड रेज है, आप बोलना चाहेंगे कुछ? कोई कुछ बोलना चाहेगा? हमारी क्या लर्निंग आउटकम है इस चैप्टर से? अच्छा, मेरी स्क्रीन दिख रही है आपको?
हाँ, you can see Garma wants to be given permission, but Garma, I don't know what happened. How did she lose it?
Pardon?
Garima is asking for permission to speak, but I think, I don't know how she lost it, but just give her.
I'll just check. They all have, most of them are having permission, even Garima is having. Okay. Yes, Garima.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, due to some network problem, I lost it.
No problem. So हमने क्या सीखा इस चैप्टर से?
From this chapter, I have learned that if I have to make a change, I myself should become the change.
Yes, we all need to be the change जो हम changes चाहते हैं कि लोग हमारे लिए करें. So we have to be the role model. तो रोल मॉडल बनने के लिए हमें क्या करना होगा? We need to own it, change it and lead it. Own क्या करना है हमें? Take charge of our thoughts, mistakes and action. So हमारी जो thought process है उसके लिए हमें charge लेना चाहिए, और सबसे पहले हमें अपनी गलती को समझना चाहिए। अगर हम लाइफ में कोई मिस्टेक्स कर रहे हैं, कोई एक्शन है जो अप्रोप्रिएट नहीं है, उसको समझना चाहिए, तभी हम चेंज कर सकते हैं। जब हम मिस्टेक से सीखेंगे तभी हम नेक्स्ट डायमेंशन में जाएंगे। और अभी थोड़ी देर पहले जुगजीत सर ने भी बोला था मैम का रिफ्लेक्शन पढ़ के कि किस तरीके से उन्होंने इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की बात करी है। जब तक हम रिफ्लेक्ट करना नहीं सीखेंगे हम चेंजेस नहीं ला सकते। चेंज लाने के लिए वी डोंट नीड टू वेट, कोई करेक्ट टाइम नहीं है चेंज लाने का। सो अगर हम वेट करते हैं कि कल से स्टार्ट करेंगे, नेक्स्ट डे से करेंगे और सम पर्टिकुलर डे, नो, देयर इज नो चेंज का टाइम। वी डोंट नीड टू वेट। हम इम्प्रूव वो कर सकते हैं जो हमारे हाथ में है। इम्प्रूव व्हाट यू कैन इन योर सेल्फ, इन योर क्लास, इन योर ओन वर्ल्ड। सो अपना वर्ल्ड डजंट मीन आप पूरे उसका ग्लोब की हम बात कर रहे हैं, अपनी कंट्री की, सिटी की, स्टेट की, एरिया की बात कर रहे हैं, नहीं। मेरा बेडरूम इज माय ओन वर्ल्ड, माय हाउस इज माय ओन वर्ल्ड। मेरा बेड, मेरा कबर्ड, दैट इज माय ओन वर्ल्ड। सो छोटी छोटी चेंजेस से हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, तभी हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। देन वी नीड टू लीड। लीड क्या करेंगे हम यहाँ पे? बी द वन others look up to. So be the role model. अगर हम रोल मॉडल बनना हम चाहते हैं कुछ चेंजेस, तो हमें रोल मॉडल बनने के लिए हमें अपने एक्शन से उस चीज को करना चाहिए, नॉट जस्ट वर्ड्स। सो दैट्स इट फ्रॉम माय साइड। एंड सुमन,
Asta
Asta,
wants to say something.
Asta wants to say
I
something.
want to share one thought on the topic we have studied of quality time and quantity time. May I?
Yeah, please.
That if we want to buy a jeans without seeing its price, we have to study without seeing the time.
Yes. So do you want to say more about it? Like what exactly you want to say? I didn't understand.
Let me repeat. If we want to buy a cloth without seeing the price, we have to study without seeing the time.
Now we have to
Okay.
study without.
Seeing the
Time.
time.
Uh, yeah.
So I believe you're talking about your skills. Yes, जब आपने अपने skills को see studies, bookish knowledge and that is not everything. So अगर आप अपने skills को develop करते हो, आप और ultimately अपने आप बढ़ते हो. So world is more than the bookish, the subjective knowledge. Subjective knowledge और skills और आपकी अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग जब तीनों चीजें आपकी राइट एटीट्यूड के साथ आगे बढ़ती है तभी आप लाइफ में एक अच्छी ह्यूमन बनते हो. So it is an integration of everything. So values, knowledge, and right attitude towards the work. So what you have said is correct. If you want to buy something, जिसकी आपकी लिमिट आपको नहीं देखना अपने स्पेंडिंग की, then you have to work on your skills. Yes, studies. I think you are trying to say on your skills. Yes, you need to work on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
skills.
that.
That's
Like
wonderful, but
I
I
have
really loved
compared.
it.
Mhm. I have compared jeans with the clothes. Like if I want to buy jeans without seeing the price, so we
Yes,
can add everything to compare to the jeans, and to have study without seeing the time. So I was saying that we have to spend the time on our skill through which
exactly.
we can change the world.
Certainly, I totally agree with that. And that's a very nice thought process. So आप अपने थॉट प्रोसेस को राइट अप के हिसाब से मेरे साथ शेयर करिए. थोड़ी सी उसमें अगर आप चाहो तो एक ड्राइंग भी बना सकते हैं, पिक्टोरियल. आप मुझे अपने थॉट दीजिए. आई वुड लव टू पब्लिश देम. एंड एज यू हैव सीन टुडे, आपके स्कूल के और बाकी के स्कूल के थॉट्स जो भी है इन एज अ राइट अप आई एम publishing it. Like the same way, I would also request everyone whosoever is present here to send your thoughts. Whatever is your takeaway from today's session, inner life of animals, or this one, change, be the change you want to see in the world. ये दो टॉपिक से आपके जो भी आपके थॉट प्रोसेसेस हैं उसमें आप कुछ शेयर करना चाहते हो, आप जरूरी नहीं जो हमने चैप्टर पढ़ा है उसी से आप शेयर करो. आप अपने खुद के लाइफ के एक्सपीरियंसेस भी हम हमारे साथ शेयर कर सकते हो. स्कूल में कुछ हुआ वो आपको शेयर करना है, बट इफ यू शेयर इट as an audio note or a video note, that is also welcome, along with a picture. Everything is welcome. Just don't forget to share the thoughts with me. Over to you, sir.
No, thank you. That is a very nice, nice chapter, and we got examples of people who have made the changes in themselves. So I mean, the very very powerful examples, and I think you know Asta has also left up some food for thought. So that's great. So thank you everybody, and see you again next Sunday. Bye.
Bye bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day. Take care.
Bye. Good day, enjoy, ma'am.
Bye.